Hey there, Kaleidoscope Squad. Have you ever believed something so ridiculous as a kid that you look back now and wonder, how did I ever fall for that? Well, you're not alone. Today, we're diving into the hilarious world of childhood gullibility with some of the dumbest lies people believed when they were kids. From thinking the moon was made of cheese to believing that if you swallowed gum, it would stay in your stomach for 7 years. Prepare to laugh, cringe, and maybe even relate a little too much. Grab your popcorn and let's get this hilarity rolling. What were the dumbest lies you believed when you were a kid? When I was a child, I got upset after a button came off of my shirt. My mother told me not to worry and that if I placed the button under a rock in the yard, the button fairy would replace it with a quarter. I believed it, and to my mother's dismay, she discovered I had pulled the buttons off of every shirt in my closet. To this day, 40 years later, shirt buttons can still be found under random rocks in my parents' backyard. What happened when you learned about the tooth fairy? Not up, but my mom came into the room in black pants, black jacket, and a black hat. She came over to my bed before I was actually asleep and lifted my head up to put the dollar under. I didn't recognize her, so I thought I was going to get my throat slit or something if the person realized I was awake. When I was a kid, my dad told me it cost 25 cents to change the radio station to keep me from with the radio in his car. I believed that until I was 14. Don't give strange ideas to some radio or TV broadcaster. I was 7 years old. One of my teachers wanted us to write a letter to a family member or friend or someone. I wrote the letter, got the envelope, got the stamp. My mom had worked at the county jail at the time and she suggested I write one of the inmates who never got mail. So I did. I wrote something along the lines of, "I'm sorry you're arrested, but I hope you get out." I even signed it with my 7-year-old signature. While I was writing the letter, my mom had left to get to the store. I asked my older brother what our address was because I needed to put a return address. He said, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C. 20500. For those that don't know, that's the address to the White House. I wrote it on the letter and put it with the mail my mom was sending out. Mind you, I grew up in Michigan and never left the state, but I wasn't smart. Years later, I went to pick my mom up from work and one of the co's called me Mr. President, and I asked why he said that. He mentioned the letter I wrote years prior and how it was a joke in the jail anytime my mom mentioned me. The rumble stripes on the side of the road are there to help people who are blind drive. My dad told me that the reason why police officers spend so much time at donut shops is because the shop owners actually need them there to shoot the holes in the pastries to provide them with the classic donut shape. I found out this was a lie when my dad caught me trying to get behind the counter at Dunkin' Donuts one time because I wanted to see the shooting. I was in on this lie between my mom and younger sister. My sister was about 5 years old at the time, and my mom convinced her that Benadryl was truth serum. My mom would threaten to give it to my sister if she knew she was lying. It was so hilarious, but my sister seriously believed it and would get upset. I was told your ears turn red when you lie. Hard to get away with stuff when you look like the hear no evil monkey. I believed that girls pooped and peed out of their butthole. When I was 16, I asked my older sister, when you go pee, how do you keep the turds from sliding right out at the same time? 16. Yet another child left behind. If you swallowed the black watermelon seeds, a watermelon would grow in your belly. Yeah, that Rugrats episode didn't help much with not believing that lie either. If you swallow gum, it would take 7 years for it to come out. You know how Barbie feet are on tippy toes, so they are shaped to fit into a high heel shoe? Well, when I was a kid, I thought that when girls grew up into women that their feet would be shaped like that. Despite the fact that I lived in a house with 4 grown women, none of whom had Barbie feet. As a kid, I had a strangulated hernia, which left me with 1 testicle. My dad told me if I ever had kids, they would be all boys or all girls cause each testicle is for each sex. Believed it for years. I'm wondering if your dad actually believes that. My time to shine. When I was a little kid, I went with my mom to take my dog to the vet for a checkup. I asked her if my dog's doctor would be a dog. Lol. I once thought academic scholarships were only given to dumb students so that some of them could still attend college. I even told my older brother that he was so stupid, he had to get scholarships to go to college. He went to the Ivy League. Man, I'm worried for whoever told you that. That women's periods stop in water to avoid sharks smelling it. Lemfao what? It's an evolutionary adaptation. That our entire house was covered by cork-sized security cameras and that my parents could see my every move. My kid has convinced herself of the same thing and always randomly asks, "What am I doing right now?" from across the house. My mom convinced us she had eyes in the back of her head. She could tell us what we were doing in the living room while working in the kitchen facing away from us. We'd test it even further by doing the "how many fingers am I holding up" test, and she'd get it right every time. So all little kid evidence concluded that mom did in fact have eyes in the back of her head. It wasn't until I was much older that I randomly noticed the crystal clear reflection in the kitchen window my mom could always see. My father was a fish taxidermist and had a bunch of glass eyes for them. He told us he had eyes in the back of his head and lifted his hair to show us. Also, I ate a dog biscuit one time, one of those that humans can eat too, and he drew a red dot right on my tailbone when I was sleeping and told me I was going to turn into a dog. Traumatized me for 8 years. This isn't a lie, but when I was a kid I had no idea how turn signals worked and just thought the cars always knew exactly where we were going. I didn't realize they turned off automatically when the steering wheel is turned back straight. I just thought all adults had to be really coordinated to disengage them while executing the turn. This made me really nervous about learning to drive. The teachers in my school told us if you pull the fire alarm, ink shoots out on your hands that doesn't wash off for a few days so they know who pulled it. I was 26 when I found out it's all a lie. Edit. As so many people have pointed out, apparently some fire alarms do have ink in them. Ours did not though. So still a lie, I guess. That adults know what they're doing. Only when you become an adult you realize you're bad at life, but somehow along the way you've become great at pretending you're not. As a kid, I thought that girls get pregnant from kissing. Yes, 6-year-old me was very smart. I thought you had to spit in their mouth. I knew the man's DNA had to get in there somehow, just didn't know what substance actually got them pregnant lol. I asked my mom where babies comes from and she diplomatically said from a special passage inside the woman. For years, I pictured a butt cheek swinging open like a hatch and a baby dropping out. I thought that you just prayed for a baby and God got you pregnant. Growing up in the church was a wild ride. That if you sit too close to the TV or computer screen you'll go blind. I was told that during the summer of 5th grade, then got glasses in 6th grade. All I heard was a "told you," as I tried on my first pair of glasses and was told that my sister 1 year younger won't need glasses. Beckway she listened. She got her glasses less than a year later. You can't leave the house after dark because the chupacabra outside will eat you. I know, right? Chupacabra only eats goats. And there you have it, folks. A trip down memory lane filled with some of the most absurd and laugh-out-loud lies we all fell for as kids. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to Kaleidoscope for more fun content, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. Got a dumb childhood lie you believed? Drop it in the comments below. I can't wait to read them. Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and remember, don't believe everything you hear, unless it's from me. See you in the next video.